Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out top 10 iconic Brits.
In England's finest hours, these were their kings and queens. In some cases figuratively, in some cases literally. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 iconic Brits. For this list, we are excluding those celebrities associated with America more than Britain. So, very sorry to all you Charlie Chaplin fans.
Oh, I forgot he was British.
Also, we are solely including celebrities born in England, and not those from Scotland, Wales, or Ireland.
Okay, so that's weird that they're not including people from Wales, Scotland, or Ireland. Why not? They're British, right? Also, I noticed that this is the American version of Mojo, and this person narrating is American. So it's from an American perspective, I think. I can already see that the Beatles are going to be on this list. Surely they are, but I'm going to predict Queen Elizabeth, the most recent one, who we just saw. Winston Churchill, maybe. Who else? Henry VIII. We just saw him, I think, actually. Alan Turing, maybe? Let's see.
Number 10. Charles Dickens.
Of course.
Considered the greatest Victorian novelist ever, this writer and critic of 19th century England wrote of the country's best of times and its worst of times, often commenting on the social ills that were occurring around him, including poverty, prejudice, hypocrisy, and more. Dickens used his experiences to craft some of the most beloved, known, and timeless characters in all of literature. Known as well today as he was in his own time, Dickens and his legacy as an icon in British prose will continue to live on thanks to pieces of writing like Great Expectations, A Christmas Carol, A Tale of Two Cities, and Oliver Twist.
Wow, yeah. Forget how influential he is to not just like British culture, but around the world. English speaking, at least. Those are some classic books. Charles Dickens, of course. And what a great name. Who's next?
Number 9. Richard Branson.
Oh, okay.
British business tycoon and self-made billionaire Richard Branson is founder of Virgin Group, a multinational made up of over 400 different affiliate companies, including subsidiaries in the airline, railway, and mobile phone spaces, as well as commercial space travel. But it all started in the late 1960s with his record business, and by the next decade, Branson really began to amass his fortune with the Virgin Records record label. Thanks to Branson's pioneering vision and boyish charm, the brand eventually represented many groundbreaking acts and made Branson one of the UK's 10 richest citizens.
I would not even have thought of him to be on this list. Let's just check Virgin Records. You know, the music industry is a tough one. Peter Gabriel, Richard Ashcroft, Ali Campbell. I don't know how current these are. Phil Collins, Jerry Halliwell, Boy George, Joe Jackson, George Michael. 311, Aaliyah, Paula Abdul. A lot of these, I think, signed with Virgin after he sold it. Yeah, Richard Branson. Old Dick Branson.
Number 8. Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin.
Of course.
Survival of the fittest is the game of life. So it's no surprise that Charles Darwin's theory of evolution propelled him onto our list. His work on the origin of species proposed that all species of life descended over time from common ancestors. Not only has this naturalist helped the world's understanding of natural sciences evolve, he also revolutionized how humans think of their place in the universe and history. All of this has easily made him one of history's most revolutionary scientists, as well as one of the most famous Englishmen.
Yeah, well, he changed the world forever, didn't he? Wow. Where exactly was he from? He studied at the University of Edinburgh. He studied at the University of Cambridge. He was born in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. Shrewsbury, Shropshire. What a name. Beautiful. Look at that. Yeah. Beautiful, yes. Oh my God. What a beautiful little town. Picturesque. Right. Where is it on a map? Shrewsbury. Oh, okay. It's kind of out there, northwest of Birmingham, southeast of Liverpool. Cool. Now I know. Charles Darwin. Yeah, definitely iconic. Deserved to be on this list. Maybe higher on the list.
Number 7. Margaret Thatcher. This Conservative Party leader was the longest-serving Prime Minister of the 20th century and is the only woman to have held Britain's highest political office. Uncompromising, ferocious, and cunning, Thatcher was not only an icon in British history, but also of conservative thought, with her right-wing policies earning her adoration from the right and disapproval from the left, especially when she cut funding to social programs, diminished the power of the unions, and privatized certain state-owned companies. However, regardless of your stance on her politics, it's difficult to deny the impact this Iron Lady had on 20th century Britain.
Definitely iconic. I've heard a lot of bad things about her. She cut social services. She was against the unions. I don't like that. She may have been a fine person, but we probably would not have agreed if we were in a room together talking about politics. But I would love to have a cup of tea with her.
Number 6. Sir Isaac Newton.
Of course.
Known as the father of modern science and a significant figure in the scientific revolution, this natural philosopher was a physicist and mathematician, best known for his earth-shattering revelations in optics, calculus, the laws of motion, and, famously, universal gravitation. Another man who's considered a key figure in science history, his book, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, has proved invaluable to the scientific world. In fact, without him, Europe may never have undergone the scientific revolution it so desperately needed. And the phrase, "what goes up must come down," may never have even been proven true.
It's hard to imagine a world before knowing about gravity. I mean, I guess when we were little kids, we didn't really know what gravity was, but to be a full-grown adult and not understand how you're being held onto the ground, that would be weird. I guess you wouldn't really think about it. But yeah, to see the moon hanging up in the sky like that and not really understanding why it's there. I mean, in all fairness, I don't really understand how it's there now, but it must have seemed like magic before Isaac Newton. Crazy. Well deserving to be on this list. Yes.
Number 5. Queen Elizabeth II.
I got one.
Head of the
was a long
Commonwealth
life.
beginning with her ascension to the throne in 1952, Elizabeth oversaw numerous significant changes throughout her tenure. Through generations of anti-monarchist sentiment, she deserves credit for maintaining the British monarchy's overall support. Celebrating her Diamond Jubilee in 2012, Her Majesty became the oldest reigning monarch in the world, as
Wow.
well as Britain's longest-served monarch. And though the public isn't privy to the inner workings of her personality, she is still one of the most recognizable and known Brits ever. Long live the Queen.
Yeah, of course she's on this list. It's really weird to think that she's dead now. She was around as long as I was alive. What a struggle it must have been to stay out of politics and not voice your political perspectives. Good for her, I guess. That's what you do. That's how she kept it all together. I'm surprised she's not higher on this list, actually. She's extremely iconic.
Number 4. Diana, Princess of Wales.
Mm-hmm.
Married to the Prince of Wales in 1981, in one of the most lavish and most watched television events in history, Diana became one of the first accessible members of the royal family. Labeled by some as the world's most photographed woman, Diana was charismatic,
Obnoxious.
kind-hearted, and elegant, all of which made her the focus of intense media scrutiny across the globe. Although that interest ultimately contributed to her untimely death, she left behind a legacy of compassion and contributions to humanitarian aid efforts, combating landmines, homelessness, and HIV/AIDS. She truly was the people's princess.
So she's number 4, and Queen Elizabeth was number 5. So Diana's more iconic. Juicy. Because I know they didn't get along, per se. I reacted to a video about her a few days ago. Check it out if you want. I've really heard nothing but good things about her. Back in the 80s, when everyone was so afraid of AIDS, she was like visiting AIDS patients and touching them and shaking their hands. Nobody else would do that. Back when everybody thought you could get AIDS from sitting on a toilet seat, she was one of the first to stand up and support the sick people. I love that. That's great. Wonderful. Gone too soon. Sure, people say that all the time, but it's true.
Number 3. William Shakespeare.
Ah, yes.
The Bard of Avon. perhaps no other Briton shaped the English language and culture as significantly as Shakespeare. Contributing thousands of new words to the English language, the legendary
Thousands?
poet, playwright, and actor scribed roughly 38 plays and 154
Why is he
sonnets. His tales remain relevant to this day, as they not only impacted English society, but also reveal the timeless and universal condition of mankind and its folly. Something which speaks not only to British culture, but which translates to all languages and cultures. As Victor Hugo once said, England has two books, the Bible and Shakespeare.
Well deserving to be on this list. He created 1,000 words? That seems like a lot. I just gotta look that up. William Shakespeare is credited with the invention or introduction of over 1,700 words that are still used in English today. That's a lot. What? Alligator, bedroom, critic, downstairs, eyeball, fashionable, gossip, hurry, inaudible, jaded, kissing, lonely, manager, nervy, obscene, puppy dog. Wow, that's frickin' amazing. I didn't know that. I just know that whenever I see a play that he's written, that I have to listen really closely to understand what's happening. Old Bill Shakespeare, creating a language. That's. I didn't know that. Wow.
Number 2, the Beatles.
Yeah!
The British invasion made many musicians world famous. And while Mick Jagger and his fellow Rolling Stones are absolute British icons, no act sold more records, earned more number ones, and elicited more teenage screams than the Beatles. These four mop-topped boys from Liverpool hold numerous records and honors, not the least of which is the unofficial title of most influential band in the world ever.
Yes.
Together as the Fab Four, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr changed the face of music forever, helping to bring rock and roll to the mainstream, and becoming the best-selling band in history in the process.
Yo, I love the Beatles. Their music is my favorite art of any art. I've said it a million times. Why are they not number one? It's my question. Who is number one? If they're number two. Number two's good. And they are above Queen Elizabeth and Princess Diana and William Shakespeare. Yeah! Proud of that. Proud of these boys.
Before we crown our top pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Yeah. Alfred Hitchcock. Okay. Oh, yeah. He's iconic. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would think he would be on this list. Oh, okay. I don't really know much about Jane Austen. I just need to look her up. Oh, Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice. Well, good for her. She made the list. Well, no, she got an honorable mention, so good for her.
Number 1, Sir Winston Churchill.
Okay.
Our top spot goes to the British Bulldog himself.
That makes sense.
An officer in the British Army, a career politician, historian, and a Nobel Prize-winning author. Churchill aided in the defeat of Hitler during World War II, helped popularize the peace sign, or in his case, the V for victory sign, and was named Time Magazine's Man of the Year in 1940 and their Man of the Half Century in 1949. Though still a flawed hero, this wartime prime minister was considered one of the best orators in modern times, and one of the greatest leaders of the 20th century.
That in the days to come, the British and American peoples will, for their own safety and for the good of all, walk together in majesty, in justice, and in peace.
Do you agree with our list?
I don't really think so.
Which Brit do you think is the most iconic?
Yeah, Winston Churchill. He should be number one, I feel like. He is probably the most iconic British person that I know of, I think, at least in the 20th century. I reacted to a video about him a few months ago, I think, and apparently he was psychic. He had all these premonitions about the war. He was also a prisoner of war, I think, at some time, and he escaped. Like, he was a pretty notable person before World War II. Yeah, he deserves to be number one over the Beatles at number 2. Yeah. Let's take a refresher. Charles Dickens, Richard Branson. See, Richard Branson's on here, but David Bowie's not. Charles Darwin, yes. Margaret Thatcher, okay. She was iconic. Isaac Newton, Queen Elizabeth, Princess Diana. William Shakespeare, the Beatles. Okay, so I don't agree with this list. I think Henry VIII should have been in Richard Branson's place. I don't think Richard Branson is a more iconic Brit than Henry VIII. I mean, he changed the religion of the Western world by breaking from the Pope, right? Richard Branson started a record label and an airline and a train line and a cell phone company. And he floated around the world in a balloon. But Henry VIII, he had people beheaded. It's a lot more fun. Great list. Definitely some iconic Brits. This was fun. Thank y'all for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.